The energy is palpable. I'd like to open today's proceedings by asking Mr. Dick Duran, class of 1974, to the podium for today's invocation. Mr. Duran.
Oh God, we gather today as members of the Country Day community to begin the new academic year. We are humbled by the gifts you have bestowed on us. Please guide us in putting our talents to wise and just purpose. We ask for your blessing on our students, their families, our teachers, and staff. Help us recognize and appreciate the gifts each of us brings to our learning environment. Thank you for the gift of a Country Day education. Students, both past and present, are deeply grateful for the preparation to help them lead successful lives. Thank you for our beautiful campus and well-designed facilities. We are fortunate to have spaces that allow us to think beyond our own aspirations and to recognize our obligations to the wider world. Many of the values of Country Day's character virtues, respect, responsibility, integrity, compassion, and courage, guide us in accomplishing our goals for the new year and grant us the uncompromising courage to overcome the challenges we encounter. Above all, you have given us the freedom to learn. Enlighten us to use our knowledge and promote peace and brotherhood among all men. In your name we pray, amen.
Mr. Pettengill, Mr. Duran, Mr. Barton, members of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, and students, it is an honor and a privilege to speak to you today as we celebrate Cincinnati Country Day School's 87th academic year. As we on stage well know, a Country Day School education is truly a privilege. And we must have high expectations for all of you who are fortunate enough to receive one. To improve our world, each generation must teach their children to become contributing moral and ethical citizens. It is fitting then, at this convocation ceremony, that we honor those who give of themselves generously to this institution. I would like to begin by thanking the trustees who have joined us for today's celebration. Chip Pettengill begins his first year as president of the Board of Trustees. He is an alumnus class of 1979, and Mr. Pettengill and his wife Lisa have been active members of our community, and we are a better school thanks to them. I would like to welcome our newest trustees, Marianne Castrucci, Dick Duran, Connie Hudson, and Shailesh Jajarkar, and Todd Stegman. Let's give them a hand. The Board of Trustees brings a wealth of experience from such diverse backgrounds that include finance, medicine, law, marketing, and retailing. They are a dedicated group of individuals who are devoted to the betterment of our school, and they have deep belief in you and your potential as students. Country Day is fortunate to have their services. Please join me in recognizing their support with a well-deserved round of applause. Next, I'd like to acknowledge the 56 members of the senior class. Together, they will have attended Country Day for 476 years. As seniors, you will serve as role models for our younger students, and you will be responsible for setting the tone that will shape the year ahead. I challenge you to take on this responsibility with character and courage. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge the incredible talents and tireless dedication of our faculty. While our humble thanks may seem modest in comparison to the gifts they share with us each and every day, I would like to celebrate their service and acknowledge the teachers who have taught at Country Day for 20 years or more. Some of them are in class with the younger students and couldn't be on stage with us today, but I'd like to read the list in its entirety. Please hold your applause until the end. Faculty, when I read your name, stand and remain standing. Beginning with the newest teacher to cross the 20-year threshold, we have two new to the 20-year threshold, Molly Petrie and Brock Miller. Let's give them a hand for joining us. From there, we'll hold our applause as we go through the teachers after that. My bad on that one. Beth Langenbun, 21 years. Paula Butler, 22. Steve Connor, 23. Anna Hartle, 23. Teresa Hirschauer, 23. Merle Black, 25. Park Gilmore, 25. Mary Payton, 26. Pat Dunn, 27. Tim Dunn, 27. Howard Brownstein, 28. Susie Lewis, 28. Elvira Carrillo, 29. Lois Poe Rust, 31. And Mr. Bob Plummer at 39 years. Let's go. Collectively, these individuals have taught for 437 years at Cincinnati Country Day School. Now I'd like to welcome our board president, Chip Pettengill, to the podium.
Valued students, esteemed faculty, and fellow trustees, in thinking about what interesting and relevant information I might share with you today, I recalled a phrase that my former boss at Fifth Third Bank used to say whenever we started an important project. Some of you may be familiar with this phrase or cliche, and I'm hopeful that your discerning English teachers will not be disappointed in my using it. But I do think that this phrase aptly describes what your teachers promote at Country Day. The phrase is thinking outside the box, and my boss used it when he wanted us to think in new and different ways. Growing up, my father, who was a student here at Country Day, used to say to me, "The real value in an education, son, is in learning how to think." What he was saying then, and what I've come to recognize over time, is that a good education is much more than just rote memorization and simple answers. Yes, you will need to learn the facts this year, but you will go farther and fly higher if you can think about what the facts mean in new, different, and creative ways. One of my favorite examples of how to think outside the box is a real-life story about pancakes and syrup. Did anybody here have pancakes this morning? Raise your hand if you had pancakes this morning for breakfast. Anybody? I see a couple up here. All right, how about only a few? How about this? Raise your hand if you think you may have had Aunt Jemima pancakes in the last year. Come on. Good, all right, maybe 1 out of 3. That's pretty good. Aunt Jemima pancakes have been around for a long time, certainly longer than a year. Aunt Jemima was actually started 123 years ago in 1889, and for the longest time all they had was flour for pancakes. By 1965, Aunt Jemima had been making pancake flour for 75 years. And at that time they hooked up with an advertising executive named George Lois. Lois said to the Aunt Jemima people, "You have pancakes. How come you don't have syrup?" And they said to him in a very inside-the-box way, "Syrup is not our business. We make pancakes." Clearly, these people were not Country Day graduates. So Lois, who thinks Aunt Jemima should be making syrup, tries repeatedly but unsuccessfully to convince them to make syrup. Not one to be boxed in, Lois had an ingenious idea. He created a consumer survey with questions about preparing pancakes. The whole questionnaire was a disguise for one question, the last question, the one question that Lois cared about. And this is the crux of the story. because the final question listed a bunch of syrups and asked the survey participants which of these syrups they had purchased in the past year. And one of the syrups that George Lois listed was Aunt Jemima syrup. Lois had the creative insight to ask people how often they purchased a syrup that didn't even exist. And would you believe that because of the high consumer awareness of the Aunt Jemima pancake brand, over 60% of the respondents circled that they had purchased Aunt Jemima syrup. With that new information, Lois went back to the Aunt Jemima people and easily convinced them to produce syrup, and today Aunt Jemima syrup is the largest and most dominant syrup brand in the world. So as we begin this new year, my parting thought for all of us is to resist the weighty pull of conventional wisdom, think differently, and once in a while, eat some pancakes. Just make sure to have some syrup with it too.
Next, I'd like to introduce Michael Barton, our student body president.
How's everyone doing this morning? Good. I honestly don't think that life can get any better than it is right now. It was just yesterday I was sitting by the pool, soaking up the sun's rays, getting healed by Mother Nature with my best friends. I then went and watched the soccer teams win yesterday, and all of my best friends played really well. And now I get to start school in front of 487 of my best friends. At the closing of school last year, I stressed to go out this summer and have more fun than you ever had. I hope you listened to me. I hope you had fun. I hope you grew your friendships. And I hope you did something a bit crazy. But if your summer wasn't what you wanted it to be, don't worry, because I promise your experience this fall at school will far exceed any of your expectations. You guys have the opportunity to do whatever you want this year. Whether it's go out and get straight A's or start a club, or even win the football state championship. Anything's possible. That's because right now we're at the beginning. And like the beginning of anything in life, you have the chance to shape what happens tomorrow, today. But how do you do that? Over the past few years, I've learned a very valuable lesson, and it's something that no one's ever told me. It's as simple as this. If you want something in life, you take it. Don't ever expect something to just land in your lap. If you truly have a desire, and you're actually passionate about it, when you wake up in the morning, you do whatever it takes to fulfill it. With that knowledge, you just have to figure out what you want to do. Middle schoolers, you guys have no idea how good you've got it. Everyone loves something new to keep life fun and interesting. And fortunately for you, you're living in a world of firsts. This is the time to get your first bad grade. The time to get your first KP. The time, for the first time, you're going to stay up late and study for a test. And boys, if you're really lucky, it's the time to get your first kiss. So enjoy every class with Mrs. Lewis, every story with Mr. Gilmore, and every single prank you pull on those substitute teachers. Because when you look back at your year spent in middle school, look back knowing you had a great time. Freshmen, you're insecure. I don't know what for. You're turning heads when you walk through the door. Now, can we please give the freshman class a huge round of applause and welcome them to high school? Trust me though, I get it. High school is an unfamiliar place. You're seeing new faces, you have new teachers, and everyone seems to be looking at you like you're outsiders. My only advice for you is to go shopping. For the first few weeks of school, just look around and decide what kind of kid you want to be. What kind of friends you want to have, what kind of reputation you want to build here, and what you want to accomplish in the school. And once that's decided, you just go out and you take it. High school starts to move really fast, and you can get lost in it. So this is the time for you to try new things, new clubs, new study habits, and always grab a few friends for the ride. They're going to be your most important asset in high school. Sophomores, you've got 1 down and 3 to go. You've got a sense of direction now. You know how to work, you really know how to play, and you definitely know how to win athletic events. Academics get tougher this year, but don't worry, you're prepared. Study in groups, collaborate a whole lot with friends, and do whatever you can to make high school fun. And please, 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 let's win a lot of soccer games this year. Juniors, welcome to my favorite year of high school. Forget what everyone says about junior year. I loved it. There's a lot of work, and yeah, there are plenty of late nights, but you're going to become closer with your friends than you ever have in high school. And besides, you're now upperclassmen, and that makes you really cool. And seniors, we've got 2 semesters left. 2 semesters to get into college, 2 semesters to attend high school sporting events, 2 semesters to be with all of your friends, and 2 semesters under the power of my spiritual leader, president, and boss, Trent Bow. And 2 semesters left to show this school why the class of 2013 is the most accomplished, the smartest, and definitely the best looking class ever to go through these doors. Now, every year I've sat in the seats and listened to the incoming president give a speech. And every year they say the same thing. It's get involved in sports, get involved in clubs, get involved in school, get involved in your community. Just get involved. And there's no question why they say this every year. And it's because when you look back at your time at Cincinnati Country Day, I can promise you you're going to forget most geometric angles you learned in Mr. Brownstein's class. It's a little ironic, but you're probably going to forget all literary terms you learned with Mrs. Dunn. And you're definitely going to forget everything you learned in chemistry. I took it last year and I already have. But you're not going to forget that moment of excitement you had when you came up with that new idea for a club. You're not going to forget the feeling of invincibility you felt as you slid into first base of the Howard Brownstein tournament. And you will not forget the feeling of pride you had for your school when you rushed the court after Ramiz Khan hit the game winner against Summit. At the Seven Hills School down the road, the students sacrificed sports to succeed in school. At Summit Country Day, those athletes sacrificed school for sports. However, at the best school in Cincinnati, the Cincinnati Country Day School, we eat our cake and we have it. We succeed in our schoolwork and then in our sporting events. We win in the classroom and then on the field. At CCD, all we do is win. And we do it hand in hand, as a community, as a school, as a group of best friends, with smiles on our faces and joy in our hearts, because when we want something, we're not afraid to take it. And what I want from you this year is for you to work hard. I want you to play even harder, and right now, I want you to give a huge round of applause and a standing ovation for the best head of school, Dr. McCrae.
Thank you very much. I helped Michael with the end of his speech. I hope you know that. We were returning from winter break during my second year as Country Day's headmaster when the director of facilities informed me of her decision to resign immediately. Overnight, I became the person responsible for managing our facilities, which was an alarming thought. I wasn't sure how to turn on the lights, much less handle all of the intricacies of running a 62-acre campus. Boiler room inspections, lockdown drills, turf maintenance, and the list goes on. Needless to say, I was a bit concerned. Luckily, Dick Duran was serving as a member of the Board of Trustees. He had an impressive background in construction management. I asked Dick to leave his job with Messer Construction and join Country Day's administrative team. Fortunately for us, Dick didn't hesitate. He welcomed the opportunity because both he and his daughter had benefited tremendously from their Country Day experience, and it provided him an avenue to fulfill the sense of duty he felt toward Country Day. Dick was an immediate asset to the team. He not only handled the manifold duties associated with running our sprawling campus, but he also served the school as middle school soccer and baseball coach. Dick is one of the most loyal people I know. I admire loyalty. Loyalty begins with appreciation and can evolve into a personal desire to support a cause or institution. I find serving something or someone other than yourself always leads to happier, more fulfilling life. Dick is an example of this dynamic. Dick, thank you. You have served Country Day incredibly well. Our buildings and ball fields have never looked better. This summer, you tackled one of the school's largest renovation projects in its history and revitalized the lower school. You also managed to oversee the construction of the new 7-court Wright tennis complex that will serve future generations of players and their families. And if that wasn't enough, you saved the school hundreds of thousands of dollars during the course of your Country Day career. Dick, has been a genuine honor to work alongside you. Let's give him a hand. As we start the new year, we can all learn from Dick's examples: his embrace of hard work, his loyal service, and his willingness to give back. Country Day's greatness has always emanated from the talents of its faculty and staff and their commitment to serving students. Every single person involved with the operations of Country Day, from classroom teacher to the facilities team member to the trustee, is dedicated to creating an environment for you to thrive. There are several adults among us who decided to return to their alma mater to serve the school they love. I'd like to mention them today, and if they could stand so people could recognize you: Fred Carey, Peter Fawcett, Jimmy Gardner, Julia Joyce, Jeff Spain, Brittany Woods, Chris Bortz, Kyle Brooks, Ben Hardig, Lori Jeffries, Lucy Haverland Jaffe, Steve Schwartz, Chalky Thomas, Gordon Wright, and of course our new board president, Chip Pettengill. All are former students who value their Country Day experience and return to serve their alma mater. Students, now it's up to you to seize the opportunity. Make Country Day your Country Day, and make it so amazing that you be willing to commit to serving your alma mater. Carpe Country Day. Take full advantage, embrace new challenges, and use each day completely to make the most of your Country Day. To help manage your lives and seize the moment, we're launching a wellness program to prepare for college and beyond. Part of that preparation involves learning skills that will help you lead healthy, happy, and rewarding lives. And at Country Day, wellness and balance are particularly important because, make no mistake, we'll ask you to work hard this year, even harder than you ever thought you could. These are traits you must learn. Developing perseverance doesn't involve a simple flip of a switch. Working hard is a habit you must form through discipline and practice. To help you grow as students, you will learn more this year about 5 social and emotional competencies: self-awareness, social awareness, self-management, relationship skills, responsible decision-making. Country Day has always been dedicated to healthy, development of its students. It's important that students who work tenaciously have balance in their lives. It is a time-tested tradition with generations of successful Country Day graduates who are proof that that formula works. Just this past year, you could watch a Country Day alum compete at the Olympics or win an Emmy nomination. Currently, there are alumni who hold local, state, and national political offices, run multinational corporations, and head leading charities. This fall at homecoming, we will honor an alumnus who is the general manager of a Major League Baseball team. And the list of our graduates' accomplishments could go on. This year, we will challenge you to work hard and reach high. We have lofty expectations because you've been given unparalleled opportunities. The challenge may seem a bit daunting at first, but your teachers will be alongside you with equal determination. They're here to help you succeed. Welcome back, and remember, Carpe Country Day. Make the most of the year ahead. Thank you all very much.